Alright, here we go. So this is how I turned €50 into €40,000 per month in profit at age 24. This is legal, I am self-made, and this is possible for you too. So first I need to get one thing really clear. I've been trying to make money online for as long as I can remember. In fact, at age 12, I literally told myself that I would never get a job. I once wanted to become a YouTube drummer. Basically me creating videos of myself playing drums to popular songs in the hope that the videos would go viral and I would make lots of money. I wanted to be a professional graphic designer. I did a 2-week internship while I was in school with a graphic design company, and then I started making graphic design videos here on YouTube as well. I even wanted to be a fitness coach. I wanted to travel the world, help people with their health, fitness and nutrition, and make money as a coach. I tried to become a travel influencer. My videos didn't do too well, but I still have the videos here on YouTube which you can see and find for yourself. So looking back on those memories is actually quite nice. And there's a bunch of other things I tried that didn't work for me. So you've got it right. This did not happen overnight. I have quite literally tried over 12 side hustles trying to make money online. I'm what most people would call obsessed. So here is my goal for this video. I want to show you step by step exactly what I have done that has gotten me to this point right now, making approximately €40,000 per month in profit between my two businesses at age 24. I want to focus on profit because revenue doesn't mean that much. Yes, my social media marketing agency has made 7 figures in revenue, but profit is what actually pays your bills. And profit is going to give you the ability to actually do this full time. So instead of walking you through every year of my life since 2011, when I first started posting YouTube videos about me playing drums and some graphic design, because let's be honest, we would literally be here for 2 if not 3 hours. I'm just going to cut straight to how I started my now 7-figure agency back in 2019. Just before the big global event. So at this point of my life in 2019, I had a few months experience doing some freelance marketing work for some pretty small clients, but I hadn't really made any serious money as of yet. One of those clients was a vegan fitness influencer who was really popular at the time. He posted on his Instagram story that he was hiring someone for just some basic graphic design. I applied, had a quick call, and I got the job. It wasn't really a job, but he was my biggest client. He was paying me the most money out of the couple clients that I had, and I spent a lot of time working with him. In fact, I actually flew out to Spain to literally live with him, his wife and his kid for I believe it was 3 to 4 days. So of course I was working while I was with them, working on some projects. It was super interesting to see the life he had built, and it really sparked a lot of inspiration for me. Now the big problem for me during this era was that I was trading my time for money. With this vegan fitness client and the other couple of clients that I had, each one of them was paying me per hour. I was getting paid just a little bit more than minimum wage, maybe 12, 13 euro per hour, but because I was hungry, I was willing to put in more hours. So I was probably making maybe 3 or maybe 4K a month. I was living incredibly frugal at this time. At the start of 2019, in my final year of college, I was living in an apartment which cost me about 4 to 450 euro per month, and I was sharing a bedroom with another guy. We didn't have any heating or insulation in the house, and in the bleak Irish winters, it can get really cold if you don't have heating and you don't have insulation. I literally would wear a beanie, a woolly hat to bed, and a jumper just to stay warm. We're gonna insert a clip of the apartment because I'll be honest, it was a little bit rough. And I want to show you this to show you that, again, I don't come from money. My parents aren't rich, they never have been. At this point in my life, this was a pivotal realization. I realized that I could not scale my income and my business if I was still going to trade my time for money. I knew I had to find a way to get other people involved in this business with me so that I could step back, make more money and work less hours. So I had heard the term marketing agency for years before this, and it was only until I got myself into this position where I was wearing golden handcuffs. If I didn't work, I didn't get paid, that it really clicked with me that that was the route I was going to take. So this is when I decided firmly that I was going to transition from freelancer to agency owner. Now here is the main difference. As a freelancer, you get paid typically per hour, per month or per project, and you do all the work. So if you don't work, you don't get paid. You also keep all the money because you're not paying anybody else. You have 100% profit. If you go down the second route as a marketing agency or just an agency, you could be a website design agency, a copywriting agency, doesn't matter. One, you don't keep all the profit because you're now going to outsource and delegate some of the work. So your role now is more about bringing new clients in, making sure your clients are happy, and communicating with whoever you've hired to make sure that the clients get the work they paid for. So you bring new clients in, you hire people to do the work, and you make sure your clients are happy. And when you master all three of those areas, as I did, things become a lot easier. And that's how we've been able to collect over $1 million in revenue since we launched back in 2019. So after I had this realization that I had to change something, I had to go from freelancer to agency owner, it did take me some time to get my first client. Again, this did not happen overnight. I signed my first client for $1,200, and this was back in November of 2019. This was game on. Everything changed, and it changed fast. Less than 2 months later, we had over 10 clients paying us every month. We were doing over 10K per month in revenue. So in less than 2 months, I went from not having a marketing agency, still trading my time for money, to now running what we would call a six-figure business. A business that makes 6 figures a year. Because we had made 10K in a month, if we made that for 12 months, we would have made 120K in that year. This was euphoric. This was incredible. I remember it vividly going into 2020. I went to Spain for about 3 to 4 weeks, worked incredibly hard, stayed in this really nice apartment. I got a really good deal on the apartment. It cost me maybe about $1,000 per month. We had a seafront view. I was on top of the world. But the second I got back to Ireland after my 1 month holiday, I realized I still had the same problem. I still had golden handcuffs. So even though we had team members helping us with our service delivery, where I didn't have to do everything myself, I didn't have real systems. And if I didn't work, we didn't bring in new clients to the business. That was a problem. I was still reaching out to business owners every day by myself. I was still responsible for bringing the money in. So again, if I didn't work, we didn't get paid. So I needed to find a way in which I could get rid of this 2 to 3 hour period that I would spend every day reaching out to business owners, closing deals, and collecting revenue for the business. That was my task. And we made it happen. I hired some virtual assistants, I built them some outreach scripts that they would follow, I gave them clear processes to follow, clear procedures, clear KPIs. They knew what to do, and I had set up the system in a way that was easy for me to manage. We also hired a client manager who would manage our clients directly, so I wouldn't even have to speak to my clients anymore. This again changed everything. Virtual assistants would book meetings with business owners that were interested in what we do. I would then hop on a quick Zoom call, close the deals. My client manager and the designers and freelancers that we had hired would then deliver the work to our clients. It was a good time. All I had to do was focusing on getting more calls booked in and scaling the business. I felt a lot more freedom now. I still worked every single day, but I could work for a couple hours and grow the business. This is when it all went south. COVID hit. Days went by. I had a flight, a visa, and an Airbnb booked in Vietnam in Asia. I was going to live the digital nomad lifestyle. And here's what happened. Vietnam shut down all entry to their country. I couldn't get in. My flight was cancelled, got my money back for the Airbnb, and I had to cancel the visa as well. So I went from thinking that I've made it, I've built a real business, and now I'm going to travel the world, to being stuck in my parents' home in Ireland. Because at this point I had moved back home after college, and again I was getting ready to go out into the world and live by myself, but this crazy event in the world took place. But something even worse happened. I now started questioning if this business that I had just built and spent the last couple of months obsessing over was even going to survive. I heard horror stories of people I knew that run marketing agencies and online businesses that were closing. They were literally shutting down, and I thought, hey, I might be next. But this is where we made a very key decision. We decided to narrow down the type of client that we worked with. So now we would only work with 2 types of businesses: online fitness coaches and supplement companies. I'm not sure I quite fully understood it at the time, but this was genius. Both of these businesses absolutely thrived during this event. Personal trainers, were working in gyms, the gyms started closing, and they all started to move online. This meant they needed help marketing. They came to us. Supplement companies were seeing an absolute surge in their sales. People were buying products left, right, and center to try and boost their immune systems and boost their health in case they got the terrible disease. And again, they needed help marketing and outsourcing work. So they came to us. So we were back on track. Things were looking good. And during 2020, I decided to start sharing my journey. I hopped back on Instagram. I had deleted Instagram about a year previous. I decided to hop back on the app. I downloaded TikTok and set up a personal account. I started sharing videos. I got some good feedback. I got a lot of negative, but I kept going with it. Later that year, I went on to launch what is now called the 6-Figure Accelerator Program. In fact, we're celebrating our 2-year anniversary since launching that program. My goal was incredibly simple. Help people that wanted to do what I did. I wanted to help people to do exactly what I did, which was start a real business that would give them time, location, and financial freedom. And I felt like I had the qualification to talk about this because my marketing agency now was doing well over multi-6 figures a year, over 200K a year. And by early 2021, we hit $54,000 in a single month. And in that year of 2021, we hit just shy of 500K in that marketing agency for the entire year. Pretty amazing, right? Well, not quite. Once again, I felt the golden handcuffs creep back in. We were growing like crazy, and to be honest, a little bit too crazy. I mean, I was feeling stress, burnt out, overworked, and underpaid. Our team was getting burnt out, and so was I. The main problem was that I was still personally taking all of the sales calls for the business. So yes, I had a team that handled everything else, but I still had to show up for some days 5 to 6 hours just on sales calls, just on Zoom, pitching our services. And that got really tiring really quick. At this point, I had taken over 1,000 of these calls and I was getting completely sick of it. I realized something had to change, so we changed a lot in 2021. We changed our offer completely. We dropped to a way low ticket service, around $450 per month. We used to charge some clients 1.2K and up to 3K a month to work with us. We scrapped all of our other services. We now just had one core offer. We decided to scale down the business intentionally to boost back our profit margins and reduce stress. I hired a salesperson to take calls. It didn't work out. I lost tens of thousands in the process. And then I convinced one of my client managers, who was already working in our business for, I believe, over 1.5 years at this point. So she knew our business inside and out. I convinced her to take the calls on a commission basis. So she would get paid her monthly wage for the work she was doing with clients. And then for every deal she closed, she would get paid 10%. And she would get that 10% for the first 3 months. So whenever she closed a deal, she would make $45 in month 1, in month 2, and in month 3. It took a lot of work, but now it's working really well. She closes between 25 to 40% of all calls that she takes, and I am 100% removed from the process. Which pretty much brings us to today, where I spend roughly 5 to 10 minutes a day on my marketing agency. This literally involves just checking in with our team, maybe billing a couple clients, and that's about it. So I now focus pretty much all of my effort on building my coaching business and sharing my journey, like in this video right here. At this point in time, we've helped well over 100 people quit jobs they hate, make money online, travel the world, and really just regain back the freedom that they knew they deserved in their life. The freedom to work wherever they wanted in the world. The freedom to work whenever they wanted. And the freedom to make as much money as they want. So to wrap things up, I want to give you some advice. I want you to decide exactly what you want in life. And then I want you to find someone who has done exactly what you want. I want you to now follow and copy that person. You might decide to start an e-commerce business, you might decide to do Amazon FBA. But if you've decided that a marketing agency is for you and you want to experience the high profit margins, the low startup cost, and the crazy scalability that you can have with this business, you can work with me. I'll leave a link in the description of this video, but I have a program that is much more than just a course. You get a full program which comes with 2 live coaching calls every week of the year. That's over 100 calls a year. And daily one-to-one support from me and my team member, who is literally paid to help you on this journey. Basically, it's a program that takes you from zero to hero. Everything you need to succeed in this world. My friend, I really and truly do hope you enjoyed this video, and I really appreciate you for sticking around. So I hope to see you in the next one.